Hi, Ashley Meehan is my name, undergrad in Law and Accounting in UL. I loved studying accountancy in secondary school, so I knew I wanted to go down that route. And coming from an entrepreneurial background, I just felt that the law would give me a bit of an edge. So I looked into law and accounting as a degree and came across UL. There was other offerings, and when I did my research on them, I just felt that UL had the best offering that was available. And when I went to the campus out in UL, that was it. I was sold and enjoyed every bit of it. Strangely enough, it was the co-op programme that helped me to decide where I needed to go. As I said, I loved accounting in secondary school. When I went to UL, I actually loved the tax electives. And when I got my co-op placement, it was in William Fry, one of the commercial firms in Dublin. And they had a tax department within the firm. Now when I did my co-op placement, I was in conveyancing commercial property and found a new love for law, which I hadn't expected. I wouldn't have had a big draw for studying law, but when I worked in it and I saw the practical aspect and the problem-solving nature, I really enjoyed the law. And I suppose when I found out they had a tax department and they actually offered an apprenticeship when you qualified, whereby you could train to be a solicitor and a chartered tax advisor. So it was just the icing on the cake for me. I suppose I wear a couple of different hats. Naturally, I'm a solicitor and a chartered tax advisor, but I specialise in agricultural law. So I set up my own law firm in 2008. I'm from the country. As I said, I came from an entrepreneurial background. My mum and dad would have won awards for farming. I was encouraged to be in business, I suppose, from an early age. I would have managed a lake on the farm at home. So that gave me my love for business. I now employ 10 people. We actually bought a farm, myself and my husband, near Bunratty in County Clare. So I have an office at the back of the house. And we work from there, and I do work for people all over the country. Predominantly it's all agriculture, so we work for farmers and landowners. That's, I suppose, my day job, for want of a better phrase. I'm also a mother of 4 young kids between the ages of 3 and 8. And I want to, I suppose, instill the love of farming and law into them. I also work in, we'll say, areas of policy. I was recently invited to be the Special Rapporteur on looking at issues affecting women in agriculture. From there, I was invited to be on the Commission on Generational Renewal, which is looking at, I suppose, the fact that we are an ageing cohort. There's way more farmers over 65 than farmers under 35. So that's been a really exciting thing, and we have to report to the Minister shortly on that. I'm on the board of the Western Development Commission, which is a state board, and I suppose the remit of it is to encourage people to live and work in the west of Ireland. I'm also what's called a Nuffield Farming Scholar, and that's awarded to people to, I suppose, to bring back ideas to Ireland where they're doing better in agriculture abroad, and I suppose to influence tax policy and agricultural policy predominantly. I also do a bit in the media. I'm former chair of the Gazette, which is, as I say, it's the equivalent of the Farmers Journal for solicitors. I'm a solicitor with the Farmers Journal, which is obviously the main farming publication for farmers in Ireland. So I suppose that is what makes me tick. I love having all those extra bows, and I suppose it's lovely to be able to have an influence, especially I suppose on the agri-policy side and on the tax and legal side, which I suppose I never would have envisaged when I was originally in UL. I predominantly work in the area now of succession planning. So obviously I'm meeting both generations, the younger and the older generation. Obviously in the farming side, tax and law go hand in hand in succession planning. So farmer clients are generally delighted to meet somebody that has that skill set. So that's been very helpful. Obviously on the practical side, I suppose UL, I think, gave me a lot of courage and confidence to pursue the things that I wanted to do in my career. It gave me great contacts. I'm still in contact with a lot of the people that I would have met in UL. There's a big gang of us meeting in a couple of weeks' time with all our kids. and we're still really good friends today. So as well as the academic side, I suppose I've made friends for life in UL, and they still continue to be friends today. So the first co-op student I ever took on was a girl by the name of Mary Curtin, and she approached me to know would I have availability to take her on as a co-op student, and it was one of the best things that could have ever have happened to me, because it introduced me to UL. I suppose I might have had the courage to approach UL, having been a former student, and Mary was fabulous, and seeing her progress in her career, and she's gone down the route of, obviously she's Dr. Mary Curtin, and she did her PhD on women in agriculture, and like that was just joyful to watch, that you're able to inspire the next generation. So Mary would have introduced me to UL, and I've since took on some co-op students, and they've really added to my business. And Mary is now the course director for law and accounting, so fair play to her. I have 2 co-op students currently working with me. One of them is last year's co-op student, and the other co-op student she's just finished law and accounting, and I'm hoping to keep her as a trainee. And I love getting the UL co-op students in, and it's given me great, I suppose, hope for the next generation. They've just really come out of their shell. They're just so practical, and they're, and really bright academically as well. So I suppose what I would say to the girls is that are working with me, I always say to them, I say, knock on the door. If you're not sure of anything, go and knock. Equally, I remember when I was in UL, I would have rang solicitors, I would have rang different people that had been where I wanted to be, and said to them, if you were doing it again, would you change anything? And some of them said they would, others said they wouldn't. So I think go and have the courage to go and use your network, use your contacts. It's a huge part of getting from A to B, and people are only generally delighted to help the next generation up. So what I'd say is I'm continuing to climb the ladder, and I think it's really important to put the ladder back down and bring the next generation up behind it.